Alrighty, lumberjacks, welcome back to another episode of FDR Logging. I can't remember what we're doing. Like sometimes I record these in sequence, and then sometimes I am gone for a day or a week, and I can't remember what I was doing. I assume something was happening. Right, we had bunched all that stuff. Oh, the last episode, we had just made all these decks. We piled all these logs into decks, and I think this episode we're going to get the processor rolling. We also have a little bit more wood to forward over there, but you know what? I think processing will be more important. So let's move this loader out of the way. So let's maybe do long logs. I think that's what we decided we're going to cut into. Oh, and I got to put on my crappy background music to keep my mind entertained. Whoa, that's too loud. See, what seems loud to me might not be loud for you guys, but I usually put it about 30%. It's just a list of like weird YouTube music, but it helps me think with my thoughts while I'm playing the game and talking and commenting and commenteering in this game. Yeah, so let's do a whole bunch of processing. We're gonna cut to what are we at? We're at 6 meters. Let's do 14s. I think 14s are a nice kind of a happy place for me for cutting. So let's do that. And I guess since we're working, well, you know what? I don't really care. I was going to go all the way to the very first pile and then work our way backwards, but I can just walk off the pile and move up to the next one. Maybe I'll do a pile of longs and a pile of shorts and a pile of longs, because right here I have enough space to do longs. The next deck looks like it might be a little tight, so we'll see what we can do here. Subjects. I've had so many comments over the past while on subjects. You know what? Today we're going to talk about two things. One wasn't one that anybody asked, but one I'm going to bring up. Hoses. So, when the game released, I included a little bit of the hose work that I did. Or when the mods released. Not my game. I did a little bit of hose work on the machines, but not a crazy amount. And what I mean is like the hoses. So if you look at this head right here, you see that hose that comes out of the head and rolls up? So in this game, I think that was actually in 22 as well, but I didn't even look into it in 22. I just started playing with it in 25. You can set your own local hoses now, so you don't have to use, you used to have to use Maya and use like skin meshes and stuff to make your own hoses. But in this one, you can actually make them using the editor and connect them all over the place. So when the game came out, again, these videos are all over the place, so who knows, by the time this video comes out, we may have hoses already, I don't know. I'm actually just going to cut a little short pile over here too, just for fun. And we'll just leave some shorts over here. But when the game came out, I have a couple things, like the hoses on the processors, the hoses on the loaders coming out of the rotator attacher joint thing there. So yeah, some people had commented that the hoses looked really good, but why was their hoses missing from other parts? So yeah, there are some hoses on some machines and some are missing them. And basically when the hoses came out, it was literally a discovery I made in the last 3 days before the mods came out. And I was like, oh man, this is so cool. Like I want to include it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't really have enough time to do all of them. I just don't. So what I ended up doing was just doing some very light hose work on a few things, like the processor. I really wanted hoses on that head coming out, so I did that. And I also wanted hoses on the heads for the high cab machine, so I did that. But the hose work is just beginning. There's more coming that I want to do. I need to get the time to do it. It is a little bit of tedious work rearranging the hoses to get them to go the way you want them to go, and playing with how straight and how bendy they are and all that fun stuff. So yeah, so more hoses, more detail, more stuff is coming. There's just some stuff I discovered like in the last moments of the release. So like my mods all the time, they're going to be constantly getting more detailed, more developed. Some people have given me criticism for saying, oh, well, you release your mods and then add all this stuff after. Why don't you just save them forever and then release them when they're done? Why do you release this unfinished product? And my comment to that is, well, I don't really think it's unfinished. I think it works great. I just think we improve upon it. And I've always said in my other videos, there was that one saying, I think it was in like House of Cards, I think is where I heard it, but it's a saying from other places as well. I don't know what where it originates from, but it's like, what is it? I can't remember now. It's to change is, oh yeah, I can't remember. It's to change is to improve, but to change often is to perfect. That's the saying. And I really love that saying because it directly relates to what I do with these mods. So I change quite often. I make additional improvements quite often. But if I just released these one time and said, that's it, you get what you get, and that's it, I think that's stupid. I think that's a piss poor way to do stuff because you never really improve upon your work. Because if I discover something down the road that I want to add to it and I say, oh, well, it's already been released, I can't do anything else to it because it's already been released. That's just stupid. So I get not releasing a product in a bad way. Like, don't release an unfinished product if it's crappy, but by all means release a product that's working well and then constantly improving upon that product as you move along, like, right? But like I said, don't release it if it's not working. My mods I would never release if they weren't in an absolutely great working status, or at least a decent working status. But I'm always improving them. But if they're half broken and janky, I wouldn't just go, well, guys, none of the mods actually work, but here they are. I wouldn't do that. Not a chance that would happen for me. I want to cut that a little bit more. I wonder if I can just give it a snip here. Sure. But we're going to just cradle that into a load anyway. So yeah. Oh yeah, this is a weird thing that happens, hey? So we saw it in multiplayer testing, but there's sometimes you get a tree type not supported. So I think if I give it a snap with this guy, it fixes it. I have no idea. That's just a weird one, man. I don't know how to describe that one. It says it's not straight. I'm like, oh, the trees don't get much straighter than that tree, but that's just a funny hiccup of the new game here. Oop, there we go. So that was one thing that came up, was talking about the changes, the hoses, sorry. The other thing you'll notice with the hoses, it's kind of I don't like, is they get dirty. You see how there's a little bit of like, oops, let me turn it here a little bit. See how they got like a little bit of brown on them? That's actually dirt, that brown color. And I know the rest of it doesn't get dirty, but the hoses are loaded dynamically and I don't really have access to like where the hoses load from, or I would change that. So I guess the hoses will just do what the hoses do. But, so that's kind of a funny thing that happens on them. So yeah, hoses. Now you guys know about hoses. More hoses is more... like I'm trying to put a rhyme together here. More hoses, more noses. More hoses are coming and it'll be good. I'll make things even better. I plan to anyway. It's one of those things where it's like I need the time and then I can go through it and really whip out that stuff. But so hose improvements will be happening to all the machines. I really want to redo a lot of the booms and sticks. Well, I mean, they've already been redone like for the new game, but I really want to go give them more detail. And the key is to give them more detail without hurting performance. That's always my goal. Oops. There we go. Oop. Can I get that? Whoop. There we go. So that's kind of my plan, is to try to get them more detailed, but not destroy our performance model. So all in good time. Everybody just hang tight. Oh, what was another question? Something about joysticks. Oh, God, what was the question? I used to write all this stuff down, but I don't have my little notepad by my desk. Something about joysticks. Man, it's completely blanking in my head. Joysticks are great. Oh, I remember what it was. Joysticks. Okay, so somebody asked me, I'm going to switch back to short log. Somebody asked me, do sevens, if only Thrustmaster joysticks worked on this game. And I said, oh no, no, not at all. I said you can use whatever joystick you want. You can use anything that has a USB element to it, really. You could go use a $1 joystick or a $10,000 joystick. As long as it has Windows USB compatibility, you can use it in this game. I recommend Thrustmaster, one, because they make awesome joysticks for dual joysticking, which we do. You know, the farm sticks are great. you know, the T16000s. I still prefer the farm sticks just because there's more buttons, and because my mods have so many buttons that you get to configure, I prefer those. But I mean, those aren't like an end all. You can use whatever you want. I know guys that use the Logitech 3D Pros. I used to use the 3D Pros a long time ago before the Thrustmasters came along. Problem with the 3D Pros is they're both right-hand sticks. So you try to use it on your left, and you got that little guard that grinds into your arms. And I've seen people cut them off and change them and do all kinds of stuff. So, but I get it. They're expensive. Thrustmaster T16000s and the farm sticks are very pricey to get a set, especially two of them, right? Like, it's no joke. So I totally get the reluctance for people to buy, because stuff ain't cheap and the economy ain't super great. So I get it. So if you guys want, grab some crappy joysticks until you save up enough money to get the good ones, or just use crappy ones forever. Really, it depends on your level of commitment to this, right? Like, I have friends that want to get into this, and they ask, you know, what do I need to do to get into the logging game? You know, I don't have anything. I want to get into it. And I say, well, I mean, you can buy a mid-range PC and a set of joysticks and get into it that way. But I mean, it's still expensive. You know, it's an expensive kick to get into the logging side. That's why people already have a computer or PC. It makes life a lot easier because you guys already have the main component, which is the PC. If you're getting into this from scratch, like you're just starting out, it's expensive because you got to buy a computer. And I mean, that's, you know, upwards of $1,500 just for pretty much an entry-level computer. To play games. Maybe you can get it cheaper, better sales, better deals, build your own, but you know, I'd say about $1,500 to get you started, at least on the PC side. And then joysticks are, well, I mean, I'm quoting Canadian prices here. It might be different for everybody, but I mean, joysticks here are about $80 a joystick, which is probably means they're about 60 something dollars a joystick in the US. Again, that might have changed. I haven't bought them in a while because I still have the same set that I had from before. Yeah, so I mean, if you're looking at brand new, you know, you got to get a computer monitor. You can use a TV monitor. They work too. But you need some kind of a monitor, a mouse, a keyboard, the computer. I mean, all in all, you might be looking at, you know, $2,500 or $2,000 to get into the logging side. So that's a big commitment for somebody that's not sure. So the best I can offer is telling people, you know, like, go check it out, watch some videos, see how it works. If you know anybody that has joysticks or a friend, do it that way. Or go on eBay. People are selling that kind of stuff, you know, used. Go check your buy and sells. Facebook Marketplace has some crazy deals. I've seen Thrustmaster T16000Ms that are used for super cheap. Well, like, under half the price of buying a brand new set. But again, if you buy used, sometimes you don't know really what you're getting, right? Sometimes you might be getting like a sketchy broken pair or blah, blah, blah. But that's the joy of the used market, right? But yeah, it's interesting. It's expensive, and I totally get that. But I have people asking, back to our question before I ranted off there, what joysticks work with it? And I got to tell you, anything you want, as long as it has USB compatibility, you can make it work. Doesn't mean it'll work well or very efficiently compared to the joysticks I'm using, but it will work. You can do it. And I've used my favorite ones were the Logitech Attack 3s. Those were really sweet. I had a set that I absolutely butchered, modding them and changing them. I think I gave them to somebody. Who did I give them to? I gave them to a YouTuber who was a friend of mine at the time. Who was that? Oh, frickin' what's his name? Rambo, that was it. He was back in the modding scene. I don't even know if that guy's still modding or doing anything or what he's doing with life. But yeah, a long time ago, he was in the modding community, and I was done with my set because I upgraded to, I think, the T16000Ms, my first set. And yeah, I just said, hey, do you want these? And I sent them to him. I remember that. That was a long time ago. Yeah, it's crazy. Can't believe how memories just escape you sometimes. But yeah. Rick Rambo. There's a name I haven't thought of in a long time. Wonder how he's doing. So yeah, I used those Attack 3s. They were super cheap. I got them used on eBay. I think I paid $60 for both of, or like for the set for 2 of them. So $30 a piece or something. Logitech 3D Pro Extremes are super cheap as well. You can get those. And then you can even go like the high crazy way. I know one guy that uses the Warthog. The heck are they called? The really expensive Warthog ones, the HT something blah blah blahs. I don't know. The fancy fly the ones. But he converted the left and a right, so you can do like a conversion kit to make a left and a right joystick. So he did that. So I'm gonna do shorts on this pile too, and then the next 2 I'll do longs on those piles. But anyway, so he did that, and those are crazy. The Warthog ones are just like crazy sticks. But he used those, and he uses those for logging. And, I mean, they're pretty overkill in my opinion. But I mean, hey, party on, man. And then you got like Flirty. He has like the Vorpal ones, which are another really, really expensive one. But they're really high grade. Like he uses them, I think, for like Star Citizen and some of the flying games and stuff, and war sims and stuff like that as well. So not just for Farming Simulator. So, I mean, it's up to you what you want to use and what your budget is, right? I mean, you can spend, it's like anything. You can spend as much money as you want or as little as you want based on how much your level of commitment is and wanting to do this, right? But I mean, more and more, I'm seeing more and more people go with the Thrustmasters and the farm sticks and all that. And it's great. And I mean, they're a sponsor of mine, so it's not like they don't pay me to sponsor them or anything. They did some really nice giveaways for our fans and stuff, which was so awesome of them. But like, I'm not a paid sponsor or anything like that. So I recommend them because it's good. Like the product's good. There is a few issues with the farm sticks that I brought up in the video, like the switching of the modes on the top. I really don't like that. But honestly, it's only annoying once in a while. It hasn't really been like a major setback of life. I've also had one button. It didn't break. I broke it actually because I was just frustrated with it and it was driving me nuts. But I had one of the rubber buttons on my joystick where my grapple spin is. It's the bottom left joystick, bottom right button. Yeah, I'm just looking at it here. Yeah, it's that one. And it glitched out where it wasn't glitched. I think it just got like worn away because I pushed the button so many times doing my grapple rotations, and it got stuff in there, or like the rubber compound got mixed up in there, and it finally kind of was starting to succumb where the button would stick down a bit. So that was kind of an issue. But all I did was I rotated my joysticks since they're both the exact same left and right. I just took my left one and put it on the right side, and my right one and put it on the left side. Problem solved until that happens again. And I hope it doesn't happen on this one, but you never know. I know I got one of the first factory sets off the production line from Thrustmaster because I was one of the tester people, right, with the review. So when the farm sticks first came out, they sent me this set that I'm using now, and it was one of the off-the-line production test sets for sure, off the first line. So maybe that's something they can, quality assurance will fix in the future. So I don't really want to use that as a moot point because who knows on my version versus your guys' versions that you get. But ultimately, farm sticks are where it's at if you want a really good logging experience because there's just so much to be had from these. It's pretty sweet. And just so many buttons and options and stuff like that. But yeah, you guys can pick a set of joysticks that works for you and your budget. I'm not a joystick hoe where I really care about what joysticks you use. Don't really matter. As long as it works for you. Gets you in the game, gets you logging. Gets you in the game and gets you rocking. But yeah, so joysticks, yep, lots of options. Pedals, so the pedals, like, I recommend the Logitech, whatever the hell pedals are on the website. I think are they like a G something or something? I can't remember. I'm terrible at the names. I know it's like the Logitech flight pedals. That's all I always knew the name as. But everything has like a weird name, and I just never remember the model numbers except for like if it's got like a really easy one to remember. But yeah, the pedals, like, I don't really, like, I recommend them because what I do is great with them, but I don't really have a great system for them. So I don't really have like a video on showing you how to set them up because my system's kind of hokey and I don't really want it to be thought as a universal standard for trekking the machines. So I just let people, if they want pedals, they can buy them and try to set them up in a way that works for them. Everybody does it differently from what I've discovered talking to different people. So pedals are fun. I mean, I love my pedals. They work great for what I'm doing. I think I might buy the Thrustmaster ones if I got another set. I broke my last set, though. They snapped. That was a long, long time ago. So it might have been just a unlucky deal for me. But that one set that I had went El Snapo. Let me grab this one here. I think we'll have enough time to finish this pile, and then I'll have to jump here. Yeah, we'll just chuck that top. Oop, if I can. But yeah, no, it's in general getting into the game, like money-wise and hardware-wise is a bit expensive if you're not already a PC player, which kind of throws new people off a bit, and I totally get that. Because not everybody's made out of cash, right? I feel like I'm parked on a hill. Am I crazy? Oh, I am totally parked on a bit of an edge here. So I was like, man, it felt like I was like at a 45 there for a second. And I was like, this is really weird. Okay, we're still getting her done. But yeah, honestly, whatever gets you in the game playing, and as long as you're having fun, that's what I'm all about. But I'll tell you, I don't think you'll get a closer logging experience in any other game than this. I mean, thanks to me, of course, I made that happen with a lot of the stuff that I have set up. And of course, Giants for making it a possibility. Otherwise, none of this would be here. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here at all. So we got to thank them too. Regardless of my sometimes critical views of some of the things that they choose to do. At the end of the day, we're all in this same little family boat together, whether we like it or not. And I'm pretty happy with this. This works out pretty good. I mean, look at this processing. Look how smooth this processing's been. We haven't had any issues at all. It's been really good. It's been a very smooth experience. I'm going to smoke through this last bit of this deck, and then we'll have a nice big pile of shorts here. But yeah, it'd be an interesting statistic to see how many joystick sets have sold because of FDR logging. Maybe I'll should do a stat one day where I just put a vote out or something. It wouldn't be accurate though. It'd have to be just by a trusted number. Because who knows who's actually telling the truth and who isn't, right? Who actually knows? But I mean, I remember on the Discord we had that share your game setup section, and it, man, we had tons of photos in there of people that had purchased sets of Thrustmaster joysticks, whether it was the T16000s or the farm sticks, and it was a large number of people. So a lot of people like the logging side, and they want to be part of the cool kid club here. Be part of the cool kid club at FDRlogging.com. Okay, 2 left. 2 more, and then we got her beat. But we smoked through that short pile pretty fast. That was a lot quicker than I expected. Of course, when I'm talking, sometimes I just like autopilot through the work, and I don't really think about it. But pretty smooth experience with this processor. I really like it. I really, really like it. So yeah, this episode we got to cover what? Hoses? Boats and hoses. Hoses, and we talked a little bit about joystick. Hoses for the noses. And we're just going to go park up at this pile. And I'll actually switch the processor over to 14 so that we're ready to go. Oh, these ones are actually a lot bigger piles up here, so this might take a little bit more love. Okay, so let's just park this here. We'll leave it at that. And when we come back to the next one, we'll keep processing. We got some beautiful decks of wood just laying around waiting for us in the future here. And yeah, it'll be fun. All right, guys, we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.